Welcome to Relics Radio, your favorite weekly podcast dedicated to the metal detecting and treasure hunting community. Here are your hosts, Ken from Adventures in Dirt and Tony from 5280 Adventures.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday here at Relics Radio. Good to see everyone rolling in the chat. Having a great time here tonight already with our guests before we went on the air. But yeah, love to bring you another Relics Radio. Welcome. Let me bring in my co-host. Hey Tony, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning. I'm doing good.
Good.
Happy Wednesday. Another
Happy
Relics
Wednesday.
Radio night.
That's right. We were before the show, we were talking about all kinds of audio issues we may have and stuff going on. That's why we usually get together 15 minutes early, is to handle any audio issues and stuff. And I had my input microphone changed in my soundboard. So are you still hearing an echo from me or no? Is it
you sound much better now.
So if our co-hosts or if our guests are listening, it was probably all me. Because what do we always say on the show? We are professionals.
That's right. And now you can listen to me. I could go this route as well. Something with my audio. I don't know. Maybe.
It's already going off the rails. We haven't even started yet.
I know. What ridiculous.
How's your week, man? How's your week?
Busy. You know, I'm selling my house, buying a new house, so I'm real busy with that. But we're getting ready for this. We got 2 weeks, and we've got a huge event coming to Colorado. So I'm getting anxious for that for sure, because we got some people coming in town, listeners that follow the podcast and things like that, coming in to visit with us, going metal detecting with us over at Rush to the Rockies. Tell everybody a little bit about what Rush to the Rockies is.
Sure. Rush to the Rockies is our national open metal detecting event put on by the Eureka Treasure Hunters Club right here in Colorado. I'll tell you what, we put on a seated hunt. This is one of the nation's best well-run hunts. I'll tell you what, I think it's their 25th hunt like this we've put on. It's out in beautiful Kiowa, Colorado, and we're expecting people from all over the country to come. And we're going to have 3 hunts on Saturday and 2 hunts on Sunday, plus a free kids hunt. We've got all kinds of great manufacturers out there, including our main manufacturer, Nocta. We've got Garrett showing up in a really big way. MindLab always supportive. And as a matter of fact, MindLab is showing up with their Masters of Metal competition. People might not know about that, Tony. Why don't you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, Masters of Metal. It's a competition between teams. It's a team competition that MindLab puts on 4 different events. You have to have a team of 4 with 3 detectorists, 1 alternate. And this guy right here, he's on my team this year, so we're definitely going to win. 4 different events, different things like they're timed hunts. You've got gold panning, you've got target identification, you've got one where you have to find certain tokens, and then they total up all your points, and the winner gets how much money?
$2,500.
$2,500 to win a metal detecting event. Who else does something like that? MindLab does. I tell you that.
Well, what about second place?
Second place, I think, is
you get a hat.
You get a pat on the back and then a nice check for $1,500.
Oh, there you go. Second place, $1,500, and third is in the money, right? Third's in the money.
Yep, $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
All for a $50 team entry fee.
I know.
Not per person, per team, right?
Yep, $50 to enter as a team, and you get a T-shirt. I think you get a medal as well. And it's just going to be a really good, fun competition. I know you and I are real competitive, but very graceful to each other. But when we go metal detecting together, but it's going to be a team event. Who can do things the fastest and identify things? I mean, goal panning. It's just kind of a well-rounded competition, and I'm really anxious. We've got Cindy in the chat as well. If you guys are listen to us live, Cindy is also she's a 3rd member of our team. So we're ready. I'm anxious to get started with that on Friday, I think is when that kicks off. And then we got Rush to the Rockies Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be a pretty busy weekend.
It is. I know I took some time off work
Yep.
and behind it so that, because we get to the end of that weekend and we're exhausted and then we got to go back to work. I'm like, I'm just gonna take a day off to recuperate. Yeah, lots of people coming in. Can't wait to see those of you that are coming in to join us at Rush to the Rockies. And some of them you're coming in to do the Masters of Metal. It's going to be a great weekend. So who's all in the chat? And then we'll get to our guests because we're going to talk about treasure hunts.
We got a lot of people in the chat. We'll touch on a couple, but we want to get our guests in here pretty soon as well. We got Bill Hayes is always in first. He was in before we even started. Bill, welcome in, Bill. Man, he found some really good stuff this past week. He sent us some messages. So how about Ski Searcher?
What's up, Matt? Good to see you.
Yeah. Buddy. Pop a ski and drink it down.
That's right.
Mark the senile detectorist joining us.
He finds his way here almost every week. I don't know how senile he possibly could be.
He's got his saved as favorites or something like that.
He must.
Brush popper detecting.
The brush popper. Good to see you.
And now we start getting into some new people joining us for the first time. I don't think I've seen Tyler. Hang on a little bit before you go to bed, Tyler. We got some good people coming in here. You're going to have a good time tonight. How about Four Loaves? 4 Loaves.
Good to see you. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, Morgan Clapp. How much drama this round? Uh-oh.
Yeah, just hold on to sports, man. If we don't have enough, I'll stir some up, that's for sure.
We don't want drama. Come on. How about Finding DB Cooper?
That is a cool name.
Oh, my goodness. That's a great name and an awesome story. I've been watching so many documentaries about DB Cooper. Oh, my gosh.
Right.
A lot of good time. A lot of good times. There's Cindy. Want to say hi to Cindy?
How you doing?
How about Diana W?
Diana.
We got this guy, the Key Date Kid, as well. Look at that.
What's up, Casey? Good to see you, buddy. Metal Detecting NC Mike was just in Colorado, and he messaged me to see if I could get out, and I just couldn't get out. He was down in the spring, so sorry about that, Mike. Next time, I'm hoping, or I might come your way sometime soon.
There you go. There you go. We got a whole mess of people. We already have 62 people live with us tonight. How about that? That's crazy.
What's up, David? Good to see you. Yeah, welcome, everyone. Welcome to Relics Radio. So some of you might be joining us for the first time. We're kind of crossing over some audiences here, right?
Yeah.
So Tony and I are metal detectorists, treasure hunters, relic hunters. We usually go out and find treasure with our metal detectors. Gold, silver, jewelry, relics of the past, Civil War artifacts, military artifacts. And that's the kind of treasure we go after. But we're also into a lot of the armchair treasure hunts, various treasure hunts. I was a Fenn searcher. I'm also on Justin Posey's treasure hunt. Already have a solve, looking to put boots on the ground. So all that kind of stuff. So we thought it'd be fun to have Mike and Kristy over tonight. So why don't we bring them in and we'll get right to this shenanigans here.
All right, let's kick it off. Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Good to be here.
Hey.
Thanks for giving up some of your time to come talk to us over here on Relics Radio.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time coming, so glad to be here.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. I was just talking before we brought you on about crossing over our audiences. I know you guys have had, I call you the preeminent kind of source for all things treasure hunts. You know what I mean? You guys have been involved with it for so long. And your YouTube channel is just the place to go to get together. We're gonna talk about your Discord server later, but so for those of our audience that are listening in and our audio podcast that we post tomorrow or live stream video tonight, go on over and check out Cowlazars YouTube channel and check out all the live streams they do over there. They're always live. They're always great. But how did you guys get started in these treasure hunts? Like Mike first, where did Cowlazars come from?
So Cowlazars is kind of a backstory there. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and when I moved out here, I was kind of into the whole UFO Area 51 thing. Bob Lazar, have you heard of Bob Lazar and his story?
Sure have.
And the logo, you're right, and the logo for the YouTube channel is a cow being picked up by a UFO. So I just kind of put Bob Lazar and the whole cow together for Cowlazars, really because it's a unique name. I had to come up with something that was unique for YouTube and everything else, right? So it just worked out. And so then the channel kind of changed from a conspiracy theory channel, which is what kind of the original plan was, got into treasure hunting.
Excellent. How about you, Kristy? Kind of what gravitated you towards all these treasure hunts?
Well, I was not the outdoors type, and my brother was a gold panner finder in Alaska and lived in Colorado and got into this Forrest Fenn hunt. And he called me, and I'm in the office. I hadn't heard from him in a while, and he said, "You need to go to Yellowstone with me." And I said, I'm sorry, what? And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to go pick up a couple million in gold in a box." And I said, "Have you like, he doesn't drink or do drugs." I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, you need to Google Forrest Fenn." And I Googled Forrest Fenn and I thought, who's this guy? He didn't put this out here. So I emailed Forrest. Long story short, Forrest and I became friends. My brother and I went out, didn't find it. He moved on to other adventures. And then I met people like I met Mike in Forrest Fenn's den, and now we're married. So it's kind of crazy.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
True story.
That's so
wow.
Cool. Yeah.
So you did find you found treasure from the Forrest Fenn story, right? Come on.
That is true.
Yeah. We won as far as I'm concerned. That's right.
There you go. Good one. Good one.
And how did you become aware of the Fenn treasure, Mike? Or were you into some of these other sort of secret and all this other stuff?
Yeah, I got into treasure hunting. So I moved here to Vegas in 2007. And in 2008, there was a local treasure hunt called Vegas Die. And that's really how I got into it. I had heard about treasure hunts. I had David Blaine's Mysterious Stranger, which was a treasure hunt in the early 2000s. Didn't really work on it. Wasn't really trying to solve it, but read it, thought it was an interesting idea. But when I moved here to Vegas, there was an author that came out with a $25,000 treasure hunt that was somewhere here in Vegas. So because it's a hunt going on in the city where I lived, I thought, well, that's interesting. I was single back then. You know, I thought I can find this. This will be easy. But I did befriend the author. I got to know him. We used to do meetups every month for all the searchers, and it became a lot of fun. And I didn't have the YouTube channel back then. I wish I would have, actually. But got into treasure hunting through that treasure hunt. And when that one ended after 3 years with no winner, by the way, then I found out about the Thrill of the Chase, and I got involved in that one.
Well, got to tell you,
Nice.
Mike, I actually found it, and he just swore me to secrecy.
That's right.
Well,
Don't joke about that.
After it's over, the guy tells me that I was the closest out of everybody.
Oh,
I work second shift. I get out of work at 1 a.m. and I thought I was sitting out in front of the public library. And I'm like, how could he have hid it in the library? It was a bookmark in the library. So I had the right idea. If I would have known now, back then, if I would have known now what I know about treasure hunting, I would have found it without a problem. But I was brand new back then. And I'm like, how could he put it in a bookmark? Never occurred to me. So I had the location, just didn't actually find it.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. Well, go ahead, Tony.
I was going to ask, I mean, like, what is the attraction to these treasure hunts? What's drawn you guys into this type of thing and really kind of, I mean, I'm sure, like us from metal detecting, history, and all of a sudden it just sucks us in. Like, what's the attraction then for treasure hunting? Is it the problem solving? Is the, I could find $1 million? Like, what really brings you guys into this kind of hobby?
Okay, I'll go first then. I think there's two pieces to it. One is I'm really into Sudoku and puzzles and critical thinking and anything that I do, like games wise. I don't play video games, but I do like mind games and Sudoku and all of those kind of things every morning. So trying to understand and learn, because I'm kind of that lifetime learner. A lot of these are poems or something that's hidden in plain sight. And I want to be the most clever one. That's the one piece to it. And then the second piece is, I'm sitting there in my corporate job, sitting back going, I'm doing my 8 to 5 or even longer. And when my brother's like, come be a treasure hunter. And like Forrest said to me, when are you going to get out there and start living? And it was like, I'm a treasure hunter. Like that's like the cool part. Like I'm a treasure hunter. Like there's something to that. And the first time I went boots on the ground, it was in Yellowstone. I'm not an outdoorsy person. I trained, I got the backpacks and the poles. I probably look ridiculous, but I'm having such a good time. It doesn't matter. It's just a blast. And to kind of have that little edge of, yeah, I'm a treasure hunter. Now, what about you, Mike? That's my answer.
Well, the gold and the treasure is always there in the back of your mind. How awesome it would be to find one of these, be able to retire. But the chances are very slim that you're going to be the one to find one, right? You got thousands, if not tens of thousands of people looking for these things. So for me, too, it's the puzzle aspect. It's, okay, what is a clue? How did this person, this author, hide these clues in this puzzle in this book? And to be the person to figure it out, it's pretty fun. And I like the social aspect. Now that once I started a YouTube channel with the Forrest Fenn hunt, it was a lot of fun to share those clues with other people and say, what do you think? I found this, and you find out that somebody else found something else. Usually it's a rabbit hole, but it's still fun to discuss it. And
okay, funny story. I'm gonna tell on you, Mike. Mike's an introvert, and back in the day, he never did lives, and he had a little 5-minute coffee thing, and he was super popular, but very much an introvert. So on my wedding day, when my brother shows up for our wedding, he's like, you're the only person I ever emailed because I loved your videos, and you never emailed me back, Mike.
After he told me back, I checked my emails. I emailed him back, but he gave his phone number, and I never called. I didn't call anybody back then.
Which is crazy because my brother's so private, and so for him to do that is hilarious. So anyway, Mike has come around. He likes the social stuff now. See, it brings new characteristics of oneself.
Yeah, for Tony and I too, it was very similar. It was similar but different, right? Like we both got into metal detecting separate. And like for me, I always thought it was a very solo Zen type of me and my metal detector out there, man, looking for gold and silver and whatever I could find. And it's going to just be this hobby and good for my health and everything. And then Tony and I met each other kind of through some forums, kind of became like digging partners and metal detecting friends together. But then we discovered the entire community surrounding this. And it's the same as like what you guys talk about. It becomes more than yourself, you know what I mean? Especially if you're on social media like you two are and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've been a member of your audience for quite a while, pretty silent, but pretty much a member of your audience. And looking and seeing and been like, wow, I've watched your audience grow and grow and grow. And there's just like this, I know there's probably a real core group. Then there's people that are just on the peripheral, and then there's people that just pop in every now and then. Right. Isn't it been amazing for you guys to discover this larger community?
Especially now that we have these $1 million hunts, people are paying it forward from the thrill of the chase. It's really exploded just in the last 6 months, I would say. So it's been a lot of fun for the new people that are like, we didn't even know treasure hunts were a real thing, and they're just finding out about it for the first time. So it really is a tribute to Forrest Fenn that we're all still here, that his treasure hunt was really the big one that sparked it for many people. And it's just been a lot of fun to be introduced to all these new people.
Well, and I remember when the first time we hit 100 in our chat room, and I thought, wow, well, now we have 200, 300, 400 sometimes in our chat room. And this explosion has been, it was about 3-4 years of just trying to figure out Forrest. We knew it was over, but the ending of the hunt, but we didn't have another big hunt. And now we have 2 or 3 really quickly. And it's just made this explosion. And new people and older people, or older meaning people that have been around a while. And I always say the new people have fresh ideas. So I want to hear from them, but they're still getting their feet wet to it. And again, some people messaging, some are on Discord, some are on Facebook, some are on YouTube. It really, like these pockets of people, some overlap, but most of them don't. So it's pretty fascinating to watch tangent discussions going on, and what's kind of a hotly debated topic one place may not be in another. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, true. And I think the same way. Like I think once the treasure was found and things started, the auction happened and all that, I really thought, oh man, this might be the end. Like,
where do you go from here?
What other hunts out there? I mean, I know, there's other cool hunts going on, but nothing to that magnitude. And man, to see some of these other ones come up, it's just kept it going, and it's kept the community kind of, rabid as they sometimes can be.
Right.
Little did we know what was going to happen with the 2 big hunts that came out. It just exploded. It was just crazy. And me and Kpro were just in a position to break the news as it came out. I mean, we were the first one to actually say that Jon Collins-Black was going to do a treasure hunt. It kind of slipped out when he wasn't prepared, but we figured it out. We have a lot of people that give us information because they know we'll go live. So it's been a ball. It's been a lot of fun. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
It does. So I can't imagine it, but why don't you take this real quick? I need a 60-second description of the Forrest Fenn hunt.
Oof. I'll let Kristy do that one.
Ready?
Oh, nice.
60 seconds.
Okay. Art dealer in Santa Fe, New Mexico, hid a treasure out in the Rocky Mountains. It took 10 years. and a man found it under mysterious circumstances. He wanted to be anonymous. Many lawsuits came from it. Some people 5 years later are still hanging on with lawsuits. We do know he sold that treasure. His name was Jack Stoof to Justin Posey, and Justin Posey has a new hunt. There will always remain some mystery because of a whole sequence of events, including Forrest passing away. So the baton really couldn't be tossed to anyone that could actually get closure for many searchers. But we believe it was found at 9 Mile Hole, which came out during some of the court proceedings in Yellowstone illegally. And that was much of the reason why it was not disclosed. The end.
Good job, Kristy.
That was good.
Perfect.
That's 4 years of work right there.
Look at that.
60 seconds.
Look at that.
And that 300,000 people were out there, estimated 300,000 people were out there looking for it before it was found. It lasted 10 years. It was a long time.
Yeah, I started in 2016, did first boots on the ground in 2017.
Okay, hi, Chad. He's one of our loyal people.
Yeah, good. Tony, shut that one out. That's pretty amazing, Chad. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a good contributor to our show. Good guy too. He's been boots on the ground a bunch of times for Justin's treasure too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, cheers, Chad. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So 2017 first boots on the ground. I did a bunch of searching. I went up to Wyoming. I thought it was up a little further north in Yosemite, but or Yellowstone. But came back, just did Colorado. So when all that ended, I was on the auction. I couldn't get anything right. I just wasn't able to do it. A good friend of mine here in Colorado did though, so that's pretty cool. But then when these other hunts started coming out, right? Like, didn't you guys put on a hunt? Didn't you guys kind of organize a hunt?
And that's the other aspect of it is once you become a treasure hunter, you start thinking about, well, I can do that. I got some ideas. Yep. So we actually put out a book. There was a treasure here in Las Vegas. We put one of the gold coins from Forrest Fenn's treasure in it, along with some other items. And it lasted about 6 months, which is what we thought. And it was found. And we're thinking about doing a sequel now. We're kicking that idea around. But yeah, so it's once you become a designer, you kind of get an idea of how things work because there's that fine line of not impossible, but not found in a week. So you start thinking about a lot of different things.
Well, and treasure hunters are your friends, so you don't want to say anything to them and give them a hint. Right. Like once you see it behind the shroud, we've done a lot of online puzzle things, and we called those treasure hunts. But our first big one, it was called The Invitation, and we actually did a parody on the community. All of the characters in it were people that we knew from our chat rooms and things. So that was fun because we had names that like rhymed with the actual names of the people. So we had a good time with it, but it really, really showed how hard it is. Things that we thought were, that's going to be the hardest, people solved on the first day. And then some of the easiest stuff, we're like, why are they getting tripped up over that? So it was amazing and we had some confirmers along the way, like a phone number or things that they had to hit.
Email.
And no one can keep a secret in this community. Like the first person hit the phone number, within an hour, 15 different callers were calling the phone number. I'm like, you guys keep it zipped.
No, there's no way.
Everybody works in groups now. So that's kind of the norm is for people to share. So.
And you guys mentioned Fenn lawsuits. Tony knows a little bit about something about that.
Yeah, Miss Barbara Anderson, right? She
yeah.
Tony was in her lawsuit, so
we're familiar with Barbara. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need to say too much.
I'm like, hey, Tony, take a look at this. Crazy.
Yeah, you two might make it in our next book. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
There's two guys with metal detectors in our next book. That's you two.
There you go. Well, it's not as easy, right? It's not as easy as people would think to put on a hunt and to create all this stuff. Like I always thought, okay, like for Forrest, right? I always thought, and maybe Justin also, I always thought like, okay, well, Forrest always had this spot. Did he have the exact spot? Did he have a general area? But you got to have that spot. And then to create that poem, you really got to work your way all the way back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, work it backwards.
Work it backwards, kind of to create that poem and stuff. And if you have to do that, that's not always easy. You know what I mean? Like did he always have Where Warm Waters Halt? did he always have that, or did he work his way back and then create the poem around all those features he was able to put together? You know what I mean?
Well, but I think the second big point is it not only has to take you very nicely to one location, it needs to rule out other locations. So, and I think that was the hardest part about Forrest is there was literally 10,000 Warm Waters Halt, and 5,000 of them had a canyon, and 2,000 of them had something brown.
It fit in all 4 states.
It fit everywhere. So,
Brilliant.
and Randy from the Beacon Star, he's the originator of the Beacon Star. He did a perfect video that said a good hunt has to do 2 things: be clever to get there, but also exclude all other things, logically speaking. And I think Forrest didn't have that second part that made it pretty challenging because I mean, I saw some solves that I thought were better than Forrest because they were just so clever, and there's anagrams and ciphers and things, and they fit, but it wasn't Forrest. But there would be no way to do that. You could just have to wander 10,000 places.
And then when you design one, me and Kristy disagree. Do you figure out the location and the puzzle and the clues first and then write the story? Or do you write the story and then you figure out where you want to hide it and figure out the clues?
It depends, right? It depends.
Well, no, it doesn't depend. There's one right way to do it.
Go ahead, Kristy.
Oh, here we go.
How I see it, and there's been a lot of compromise between Mike and I. How I see it is you write the story that can always change, and then you start writing the puzzles and back them in. And if you have to change part of the story, great. But you got to know what the story is. We're not doing memoirs. We're doing an invented, cool story. And Mike thinks we need to do all the puzzles first, which he's the puzzle guy. I'm the story person.
And do the story around the puzzles, but we make it work. We make it work.
He's wrong. He admits it. And then we move on. No, actually, he starts building the puzzle and I'm secretly writing the story. And then when he goes, here it is, I'll go magic. And then they're there.
And they marry together.
Basically,
perfect.
Yeah. That's a marriage right there. So that's cool though, man. I guess there's a few different ways you can do it, but it's cool that you each like and have the strengths of, like Mike with the puzzles and Kristy with the story type of thing. I think that's a good combination.
I think we complement each other. Yeah, we really do.
Sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember that there was, like, I keep talking about Fenn, right? But like the first solve I did that put us boots on the ground, it just was perfect. It was perfect. And I showed it to my wife and my stepson, and they were like, we have to go right now. And so we gave up Easter Sunday with our family and told them all, we're going to go look for this treasure. And so we went all the way up into northern Wyoming and just like way out in the middle of nowhere, like grizzly bear country, you know what I mean? And we're just like everything. I remember I didn't want to go because I didn't have below the Homer Brown. Like I thought there was a fish hatchery up the creek that was my convergent where Warm Waters Halt. And I thought, okay, well, that could be the Homer Brown. But then I saw this house with an aerial view. And I go, well, I'm going to go to the assessor's page and find out who the owner of that house is. And it was Roger Brown. And I was like, we're going. But that's the way it goes, right?
Those aha moments are the best, though. Like I had mine also. And it's like you go, oh, and that was what we wanted to do in our hunt, is make sure that people have that moment. You might not need to go boots on the ground yet, but getting that, oh my gosh, I cracked it. I called a phone number and the voicemail is Mike saying, congratulations from Cowlazars. You get that, so that's the best part, other than actually getting the treasure. Getting the treasure is the best part too.
That's awesome.
I think seeing the explosion of the community and just how far people would take it, you know what I mean? And how they're dives down the rabbit holes of, how far people would go. I'd be like, oh, I never thought about it. Do you really think, I talk to my wife about it, like, do you really think like it would take that, would it take understanding some like odd, obscure language to, and then that language rhymes with this, you know what I mean? Like sometimes solves got pretty out there, you know what I mean?
Well, the GPS solve in the poem was a pretty good one, but we've come to learn that we guess it was coincidental. I mean, it takes you right to Yellowstone, but the numbers are there. It's just we went down that rabbit hole where we thought it was correct, but it turns out it wasn't, or at least we think it wasn't. But then you get the people that instead of a hobby, it turns into an obsession. So there is kind of a little bit of a negative side. and they don't believe their solve's wrong. Even after it's over and somebody finds the treasure, they still don't believe their solve is wrong. So you got to watch that, not get too wrapped up in it.
The one thing that you just brought up, we had this debate last night. So we have a Discord, and I will say the Discord chat room has at least 50 people in it, at least 18 hours a day, whether you work the night shifts, so then you're in during the day, or vice versa. And there's two lovely searchers. I know they're both in the room, so I'm going to say how lovely you guys are, but I'm going to use you as an example. One really wanted to talk down the rabbit hole of like a particular specificity of Justin. Was he going to be a part of this Freemasonry, etc.? And this other searcher is like, wait, that's way too far down the rabbit hole. No way. We need to bring it back up higher level and talk about this. And there was this hotly debated topic. And I said, stop. Because you can do both. We have 5 chat rooms now because they become so active. So some people break off for that. Like if I need to learn about astrology because of Ursa East, hey, anybody want to go just talk about stars? And we do, or a Freemasonry or whatever. And some people just like to talk higher level. Let's talk higher level. Who's Justin? What does this mean in the book in general? But I do agree with you. There's times that I go so far down a rabbit hole. I go, I've just put in 20 hours of research. Does he really, like all hunts, am I really supposed to be doing this? And sometimes I say yes. And then most of the time I go to Mike, and I do get frustrated because I go to Mike and I say, look, I found the beginning of this. And he's like, that's crazy. Don't do that. Let's go on to something else. And I'm like, if Mike says it, throw it out. And I get all mad, but he does, he resets me because I've gone too far down the rabbit hole. Sometimes I'll look up, it's like, how's it 2:30 a.m.? I just started on this at 9. But you keep trying, but something's going to work. I can't say no to any of these rabbit holes because they might not be rabbit holes. They might be the right answer.
And we saw that you put the link to Discord in the chat, which we appreciate. So the Discord's free. Everybody's welcome. I mean, we probably have channels for maybe 12 to 15 treasure hunts at this point that are all active right now, that are all going on. And we actually have so many people in there talking. We had to set up different voice channels for different topics.
Describe Discord. Some of our audience might not be familiar with Discord.
Yeah, so it's a free application you can get for your phone or the computer, and they call them channels. Think of it like a chat room, but a more modern day chat room. You can go and make posts on, for us, ours is treasure hunt related. So the different treasure hunts, you can make posts. We have the voice channel where people can come in. There's no video, but you can speak to each other, and people are just bouncing ideas and talking about boots on the ground and really having a good time. So we've got different channels for different treasure hunts, and I think we hit, how many people do you think we have, Kpro?
I think we're like 6,000, 7,000.
Yeah, a lot of it's exploded in the last 6 months.
And we just started like 6 months ago. The big thing is it's like the old AOL chat room. So you have the chat rooms where you can type things, people can scroll back up, and then we have voice channels. And people keep their cameras off, but they sit and chit chat. And some people fall asleep chit chatting. They're literally in there a lot. I try to check in after everybody's down because I know I'll go in for 5 minutes and it turns out an hour later. But those are the two groups. But the cool part is it's by hunt. So if you just want to work on the Beacon Star or, a hunt on the East Coast rather than one of the big ones, there is discussions happening in those particular hunts, which is pretty cool. I'd never been on Discord. I'm not technology savvy at all. And I learned like that. So it's not hard at all.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot of fun. So thank you guys for putting that out there. It's a real good collection for all searchers and all people interested in these treasure hunts to come together, to read, to learn, to interact, to put down ideas, to get shot down or get encouraged. Because you do, when you go down a rabbit's hole and then you get some glimmer of connection 12 levels down, then you just become like, oh,
it blows up.
Now it could be completely derailing you, right? But you find that little sliver of connection. You're like, oh, now I'm just sure that I'm right with this thing,
And the other thing is news. We get the breaking news pretty quick as soon as it comes out. So Discord's a central place where you will get updates to these treasure hunts, when it's found, all that, but just small things. Justin posted this, JCB said this, here's a new interview. All of that's posted in the channel. So you can get all your treasure hunting news in one place, which makes it convenient.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome. So Forrest Fenn's treasure, you get the auction going on, and then just recently you get this Netflix special that comes out. Right?
Golden Greed, yep.
They finally do a Netflix special about the Forrest Fenn hunt called Golden Greed. It's on Netflix. You all can go watch it right now. And I mean, I know probably how you guys got involved in it because you are it when it comes to treasure hunts. But can you give us some behind the scenes of kind of how you got involved in the Netflix special?
I will start out by saying I apologize. Mike and I had very different opinions about how much we were going to participate. They did ask us to be kind of one of the main character groups that they would have followed. I was more reluctant than Mike. I already had some searchers kind of not do some so great things, and I just was a little more private. I laugh now at that because it took 5 years for them to put it together. So we did allow them to use any video that we had up on our videos. Mike really wanted to be a part. They told us it's both of us or none of us. So I said no, but all of so we had to say no, and he was very accepting of my my kind of strong feelings on that one. And so we know all of the searchers. I've known them, all of them, for years, and corresponded with all of them for when they were back before the hunt or the Netflix started and the hunt was off in June of 2020. So it was interesting to watch how it progressed. Netflix was on under a different director. It got canceled, and then it came back under a different director. They were filming. They thought a lot of things were going to come to fruition. Some things didn't at the last minute. I talked to the director. They're like, we don't have an ending. So they really had to redo episode 3. They thought they were going to be able to really show some solid reasons why it was 9 Mile Hole. Forrest going over the video, he actually goes over it. They couldn't financially make it work with the estate. So that didn't happen. So they kind of reworked some things. So there's a lot of fun in Golden Greed. It is not exactly accurate. Some people are calling it a Netflix documentary, which means they kind of didn't care as much about the actual facts. They kind of got a little loosey-goosey with that. But in general, for the average person, they don't care. Was it Justin that got to the twig first, or was it Rudy? They just care that it happened with someone. So for us searchers, we, of course, it's like watching a cop show with a cop. You can't, because they'll say, they didn't Mirandize that. My dad was a cop. His dad was a cop. They pick apart the little details. And it's like, no, it's fun. Just I don't care if they Mirandize them. Just, they would have put their handcuffs on the back, not the front. And I'm like, I don't care, Dad. Just let me listen. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Well, we were happy. I was happy to see anyway that they did use clips from our YouTube shows, so we did make it into the docuseries, which was fun. And I mean, the best part is that Justin put clues to his treasure hunt in the Netflix doc. I mean, that was huge. Kristy had that idea first before it ever came out. She's like, I think he might be doing this, because we know Justin a little bit, and she was right. And it's how much fun. I mean, I've watched the thing 50 times looking for clues, but to see yourself in it was really awesome as well. And it's kind of like, it's not a true story. There's some fiction. There's some things that were not the truth, but it's still a great story for the people who don't know how it went down.
And I think they could have done a worse job.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. It wasn't.
They could have done a much worse job. Yeah. So people might not know what you're talking about with this clues and the Netflix special. So the Netflix special just is an expose almost on the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt. It interviews certain searchers. It talks about, I thought they did, a few different types of searchers. They kind of told this story, but in it, there was a gentleman named Justin Posey. And he was sort of one of the first people you see, real big searcher, really involved. And he gets through the entire docuseries, and then it's revealed. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so at the very end, he looks in the camera and he says, by the way, I've hidden my own treasure, and I've sprinkled clues throughout this docuseries in it. And you can go to his website. It is treasure.quest. He hid $1 million in gold. He won't give an exact value, but we're pretty sure it's $1 million. It's out there physically right now, waiting for somebody to find it. And he has a book out. The book has clues. The Netflix doc is supposed to help you with the book. He's got a poem, much like Forrest Fenn did. He says it contains 10 clues, and if you figure it out, it is somewhere in the American West, so the west part of the country. And I mean, I can't wait for the spring to go boots on the ground. I still have to come up with a location. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's just continued on, the thrill of the chase. We're a whole new generation to experience the thrill that we all had.
So Mike named it treasure.quest. You go over that website and you can find the poem, You can find his book. You can find all kinds of announcements, rules, little tips he's let out there to kind of answer some questions. A lot of them came from your show, Mike and Kristy. Real quick, let me put this up. This is the poem. This is the website. It's called Beyond the Map's Edge. That's the name of his book also. And so here's the poem, very similar to Forrest's poem, in context at least. And then you can read this poem and then go figure it out. I mean, I've got it figured out, but I'll give everyone else a chance. Real quick.
And I think metal detector sales are going to explode just because of this hunt and the other big one that's going on. He says, it's in a container that when you see it, you'll recognize it. He won't tell us what it is. He's like, if you've read the book and watched Netflix, you'll know what it is. So everybody's trying to guess what that is as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's all kinds of guesses on that, right? I'll read it to you real quick. Can you find what lives in time, flowing through each measured rhyme? Or each measured rhyme? There's got a question mark on it. Isn't it funny how everyone concentrates a lot on the punctuations and the capitals all the time?
Right.
Wisdom waits in shadowed sight for those who read these words just right. As hope surges clear and bright, walk near water's silent flight. Round the bend, past the hole, I wait for you to cast your pole. In Ursa East his realm awaits. His bride stands guard at ancient gates. Her foot of 3 at 20 degree, return her face to find the place. Double arcs on granite bold, where secrets of the past still hold. Beyond the reach of time's swift race, wonder guards this sacred space. Truth rests not in clever minds, not in tangled twisted finds. Like a river's steady flow, what you seek, you already know. So there you go. Figure it out. Go find it. I get 10% if you heard the public commentary on
That's a good poem right there.
That's a darn good poem, man.
We've got people in the chat. They're already throwing out the locations of it. Finding DB Cooper says it's in Montana.
Well, so most of us, I will say the majority, and Nikki's in there. I've met him at DB Cooper Con. He's kind of one of the leading researchers in that mystery. And think about that overlap. We have a lot of communities coming together for this type of treasure hunt. I'm not where he is, but I am in Montana. Justin just announced yesterday he's having his first meetup in the middle of nowhere, Montana. I think population 3,000. Dillon, Montana, June 21st. A lot of us, hundreds of us will be there, and then we're all going to branch out to our locations because here, I'll give you guys breaking news.
Ding, ding,
I'm
ding.
moving to Montana this summer with my son, extended vacation, just signed a lease. We are ready to go. My son's going to learn. I have the metal detector. I have a fishing pole. He's going to learn to fish. He's going to learn it all. We're out on a big piece of property that has horses and all of that. It's going to be a blast.
Wow. Yeah, Chasing Indy just said, Team Dillon, Montana, let's go. That's amazing. That is amazing.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So,
well, she's not moving there. I don't want it to sound
No.
an extended vacation. And I'm going to get my butt out there as well this summer.
Right.
Because
More than just boots on the ground. Yeah.
If you read his book, a lot of the history takes place in that area. So a lot of people think.
I'm so excited about this one. I'm not going to tease, but I'm going to say there's a couple things that even passed Mike's test of, he's like, that's something. So we're going to spend more than a few weeks, I'll just say. And because I want my son to realize it's not just about the boots on the ground. I've hooked him up with some other high schoolers. So he is going to learn how to fly fish. And there's a rodeo out there. I've never been to a rodeo. That will be fun. So it's going to, and then the metal detector, I'm going to show him really how metal detectors are not what I remember as a kid. It was turn it on and it beeped or not. And now the one I got him, I don't know, it's about $250. It has every depth and I'm preaching to the choir here. I was shocked. It needs its own directions but there's a YouTube for everything. I'll probably be watching your guys' channel for that.
If you need any tips, just get all of us. We'll
help you.
But that's being a great mom there, Kristy. Whether he appreciates it now or not, he'll always remember the stuff that you're doing.
Well, I left it up to him. He's an outdoor kid for Vegas, but Vegas is a city. And so I said to him, hey, we could go for a couple days or a week, or we can make it a couple weeks if you really want to learn how to fish and you really like, he hasn't fished or camped or done any of that. And he's like, I'm ready. He's like, let's go. I'm like, with your stinky mom? He's like, stinky mom, let's go. I mean, he's so excited, which is shocking to me, but we have a lake on the property where we can fish. So he's like, I can practice every day. I'll make sure to do everything. I was like, okay. And we just kind of had our powwow today. He's like, every day I want to be on the trails. I'm like, okay. I said, let's set up our ground rules. He's like, every day. I'm like, do I have, like, I'll go with you a little bit. He's a pretty fit kid. He's an outdoorsy kid. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
I think just, what Forrest said was he wanted to get people out and enjoy nature, and it's carrying on in this one too. And you guys are, I mean, you're doing exactly what Forrest wanted you to do: connect with family, be outdoors, enjoy that time, get out of the rut, out of all that kind of stuff. And yeah. So that's
Yellowstone
great.
National Park from the Forrest Fenn throw the chase. I never would have made it to the park if it wasn't for this. So yeah, sure.
Well, did you guys speaking go to the Go ahead, Tony.
I was gonna say, speaking of Yellowstone, Chad Bird piped back in. He says, "True West. Their guess is just east of West Yellowstone."
And he's been out there many times looking for it. He's convinced.
Okay.
Yep. All right, Chad. Well, I'm going to see you out there, buddy, because my current solve, I think I told you this, Mike, leads me to Yellowstone. I mean, it's perfect, but I always thought Justin's answer of, doesn't cost you anything to get in. It's just search. It really took me out of it. I think I had talked to you about that, Mike. Now, Chad says in the chat, he didn't say anything about it cost anything. He just says, as of that date today, which was 3/31, it didn't cost you anything. It didn't cost you to access the park. So, okay, maybe I won't let go of that.
We're not sure on national parks now. Justin said one thing, but then he's wavered a little bit. So we're like, maybe you can get in a national park. Not sure. A lot. He won't rule it out. Put it that way. He won't rule it out.
Well, maybe I'll see Chad out there sometime. Cool. So have you guys ever been out to the 9 Mile Hole location?
I was at Fenn Rock. I know Kristy's actually made the trip to the actual spot.
Yeah, I actually made it over, and I've waded over, I think, 5 or 6 times. One time in waders, one time not. I never fell, I will say. But it's especially based on the time of year. It's rough in spring with all the spring runoff. It was hard for me. During the summer, it wasn't too bad. And during fall, it was the easiest, but also where you went over. If you go over right at the Fenn Rock, it's a little more difficult. If you go down just a little bit, I was with a searcher who's about 5'2", and then I've been over with Justin, who was about 6'4", maybe, I think he is. So it's easier. And I'm in between. I'm about 6 foot. So it was easier for me. I guess everybody to be a little bit more shallow. So yeah, I've been over plenty of times. I've seen the exact spot. I did get the opportunity to do that, which was fun.
Did you get goosebumps?
I think by that point, we'd already been through so much by that point. It did feel like that little bit of closure. But we had said that so many times before. I do have to say, for me, I got a lot of the closure from, this is really sad to say, the court documents, Yellowstone intervening, and then them putting in emails between Jack and Forrest. I mean, that's where I got more of it. I knew the 9 Mile Hole location felt right, but that specific spot, it wasn't a specific spot to Forrest. He just needed to hide it back in the trees. He really loved 9 Mile Hole in general. So yeah, I mean, it was a nice kind of bow ending. I thought I would never move on without knowing what happened really with Jack, but I've kind of let that go at this point. New day, new hunt. Sure. I personally, I think Dale, a few others, we don't believe it was as clean as Jack just, I found it. And we think there might've been a nudge or things from Forrest. I'll still believe that. But I don't have any exact proof of it. I mean, there's some circumstantial evidence, but I won't say enough. I really wanted to know what happened at the end, but that's, I hate to say, when Forrest passed, and it's just a lot of muddy waters.
Yep. I know. I know when it was announced on Dell's site, I know that I was getting ready to go to bed when I saw it, and I said, matter of fact, this is how I ended up on the Netflix special. I went and I told my wife, I got to go live right now. Like, I don't know. That's definitely the news stations haven't heard of this. You haven't gotten a hold of this yet. So I went out and I went live right away, and it was amazing to me because I know he posted on Dell's site, and I kind of believed it that it was over. I believed that post. I didn't think that was anybody faking a post, but yeah, I was just shocked. I was like, wow, this entire community is going to just lose its mind right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
We went live, and we decided after we were all Mike and I were sitting in shock. I think we had probably 30 or 40 searchers actually come on with us. And I remember some of the searchers were so in shock. They said, Kristy, you've been told if there's an emergency, you have Forrest's personal number. You have to call and hear it from him. We will only believe it if you actually hear it from him. Right. So I actually stepped away from live and finally got a hold. I'm like, Forrest, this is Kristy. Is it true? And we talked for about 10 minutes and he's like, yeah, it's over. And he's like, make sure people are okay, but it's over. It was found. And then I came back and people were like, was it really his voice? I mean, the conspiracy started like right then. Right. I'm like,
no one believed it.
Yeah, it was shocking. And then it was only 3 months later when Forrest passed away. And I think that was more shocking to me. He was 90. I know I shouldn't have been. I think so many of us were like, I felt so close to him, but I know I was one of many searchers that, kind of I had that friendship, but I knew it was probably not equal. But I talked to him most days. So that was hard for me over, 5 years. And the first person I told when I got engaged, it was just it was an interesting time.
Yeah. I really think Forrest just thought everybody would just go, oh, it's over and just let it go.
Right.
But that was not the case. People did not want to let it go, which resulted in a lawsuit and some answers. But and then it spawned, these other treasure hunts. So I guess in the end, we're okay. So
yeah, there's still a lot of fun out there. And I'm of the thought process also that I don't know how the ending happened. There's a lot of thoughts around that, but I always felt that Forrest really wanted it found. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like a lot of his hints and stuff started like increasing, and like he was getting more loose with some of the information stuff he had put out. I just really felt like he really wanted it to be found, and it was. So then everyone can spend years talking about if it was found or not, and how it was found or not. And
on our Discord, we still have a Forrest Fenn channel where people still discuss it.
Right.
This day.
But the good part is, I think because Justin spent so much time as a searcher, he went out hundreds of times. The things that we were the most frustrated, nobody can be perfect, but the things that we were the most frustrated about, he has said he's tried to improve upon. So he got the benefit of hindsight. So like he says, there's a confirmer checkpoint along the way that lets you know you're trending in the right direction. Mm-hmm. I love that because Forrest always said, until you have the box, you have nothing. And he says he's going to put out the solve, and he has done the things that I think as searchers, maybe Forrest didn't know both sides of it. And so since Justin's been on the other side, there always is going to be hiccups. There's a controversy every week, and he rectifies them. And he's not perfect, but I think he's doing a really good job. And how he has set things up, he is seeming to overcome the biggest Achilles heels just because he got to learn from it, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Where was Jack from again?
Michigan. He was from Michigan.
Yeah.
That explains it, Tony, right?
I'm originally from Ohio, so I don't like that Michigan.
Mike's from Detroit.
Go Blue.
Detroit.
Oh geez.
Yeah, I'm from Detroit.
Oh no.
Go Blue.
Whoa, what happened? Oh, shoot.
You had to go.
Darn it.
Mike for the rest of the show.
Yeah, don't say that to the person that has the control on the cameras here, buddy.
Rivalry is strong. It still is. Yeah.
Okay, Tony. So we had Mike's stepdad living with us before him and his mom passed. And he's been a Michigan person for he had season tickets for 35 years or something. So I came into the room and I said, who are we rooting for? Is it the red team or the blue team? And it was Ohio. And he's the nicest man. And he looked at me just like, I'll kill you. Like, it was so funny. And I was like, Mike, is this like a rivalry thing? He's like, don't even joke. So then I got all geared up every time there was a game. I think it was every Saturday. I had the hat. He got me socks that said Michigan. And as long as I came down fully Michigan, I'm like, okay, go blue.
My first wife
That's
was
funny.
from Clare, Michigan, outside of.
Oh yeah, I've been to Clare. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, her whole family were big Michiganders, and it was like I could never say anything about any other team or anything. I learned to keep my place. I'll just sit over there in a corner, drink a beer or two. But yeah,
Hilarious.
So Montana, huh? Okay. Is that just where you're all headed? Is that where your minds are at right now? Is there any other alternate location? Do you think it's in Alaska?
Well,
why did he put Alaska on that map is the question, right?
Well, I'll say my daughter is 18. I started treasure hunting when she was 10. She's never really been into the hunt. She'll go out with us. We just found one of the smaller hunts a couple months ago, but this one she is deeply invested in. She studies every day on it. It's kind of weird now. She's actually watching our shows. She doesn't ever comment. I keep her kind of once removed from that. But she'll say, you said this, don't give away that. But her first solve was in Alaska. And it actually, if you look at the Alaskan flag, there's some really good reasons, but she finally and I told her, she can go anywhere. I will take her. And I was thinking, please not Alaska. That's going to be like double the cost. So she finally caught the bug, like many of us did, for Montana. We have narrowed to Montana. She's pretty upset right now because she's going to nursing school and we're going to Michigan. She's like, but I work on the poem every day. And I'm like, you can visit for a few days and you can come up with Mike. It's not like we're leaving forever. And she's like, I put in so much work. So Montana has a lot of promise to it. There's a lot in there in the book, in the stories. Some people say, no, he's just saying who the man is. And it's really in a different area. And that's okay. I think we've found some stuff that I have not seen on any of the blogs or any of the forums, just some little things that really hone in. And just to make Mike mad because he's told me never to talk about this. I think I have the cipher, Mike. And you agree. You said it's there. So I think
sorry.
And why not, at a minimum, why not go out, have a great few weeks, months in Montana, make sure to tag it with learning how to fly fish. We're going to go to Yellowstone. My son's never been. We're going to do all that up there, make a not full summer, but about a half summer out of it. And I mean, if I don't come home with the treasure, which I'm going to, I will be coming home with the greatest experiences. My son's going to be a fly fish. He's going to know how to clean a fish. It's going to be, I can't wait.
I just hope you find something metal detecting, like some coins, or just something random. Metal detect everywhere. It could be a lot of fun. And then Justin's doing his book signing up there, June 21st. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool. Sounds like a great trip. Just full of experiences that, we both cherish forever, whether you find it or not. So what percentage do you think the clues in the Golden Greed Netflix special have to do with the poem and the solve? 10%, 2%, 30%? What do you think?
What I believe he said, or at least what I've heard, is the Netflix clues help with the book, I think. So, but the poem is in the book. Could help with the poem. But I personally think the Netflix clues help you decide what are clues in the book, where to look in the book. And then from the book, they help you with the poem. And then, of course, the poem takes you to the treasure. But percentage-wise, maybe 15, 20%. I don't think it's a lot. I mean, when asked between the two, he said the book has got a much better hints to the poem than Netflix does. But that's my opinion anyway. I know we've all got different opinions. Now, do you guys know about the combo lock, right? You know that clue from Netflix?
Yep.
Pretty cool, right? Yep. That was pretty clever that he did it that way.
An homage, to Forrest.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
but I think
we don't know.
Sure. I think the most interesting part of the Netflix is when they filmed it and they cut it and edited it, he didn't know what of his clues are actually going in. So it's tough to say. I mean, was he trying to shoot for 10%, and then through editing he hit 7%, or something like that. It's tough.
He says there's a good couple that are in there. I mean, him doing the clock, going backwards on the clock, that obviously has got to mean something, right?
Correct.
Time. It's definitely something to do with time.
The dial was pretty epic.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, the combo lock, yeah.
I don't know if you saw my post on the Discord, but I went in and actually screenshotted every time he was on screen, and I took note of the time, where the things on the shelf were, what the coffee cup was doing, what the lock was doing.
Yep.
And then sorted them by time, because you don't know how it's going to be edited. So I went through there. I'm like, okay, where's the cup handle pointing? Because there was a lot of times, especially when he was holding the cup, you can see him, he look down and kind of see where the handle was pointing, if it related to a compass or something like that. So I did all that and I analyzed all that. I don't know what any of it means, but I have that data, put together.
But you know it.
Yeah. So I'm still making my way through the book, and but this first saw I have, I'm telling you what, it matches up so much to his poem. I can't wait to get out. I go to Cody every now and then for business. But every time I go with, and the East Gate's it wasn't open the last time I was in Cody. So, and plus I'm with coworkers and they don't want to go on this treasure hunt with me. But eventually I'll get to that East Gate and I'll get in there and check my spot for sure. So.
Now, what do you think of this checkpoint? How could he have created this checkpoint? I mean, I just don't know what it could be that we know we're in the trending in the right direction, is what he said.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I don't know. Do you think it just hits so strong on a line in the poem, or do you think something's there that's going to give you?
I think boots on the ground. Yeah,
I think the boots on the ground.
But I just don't know what could he leave or create that's not going to be destroyed by a searcher or moved, or I'm just wondering how he came up with it. I think it's something boots on the ground where absolutely 100%. You're in the right general area. I'm just not sure what that is. And then the way he smiled in our interview, I think he also knows when somebody's there. And how would he set that up? So yeah, but he's a smart guy, so he figured out a way.
My thought on that is foot of 3 at 20 degree. That's my thought on that. I think if you're following the location and you're going to get to this spot, I think the foot of 3 at 20 degree, you're going to find an item, whether it's a marker or some kind of waypoint, physical waypoint, that's going to be maybe have 3 feet, 3 legs on it. It's going to be pointed in a 20 degree location for whatever the item is. And I think that's going to be your checkpoint. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, this is
That's got to be it. Yeah.
That's just my thought.
That's the stanza that seems the most difficult. The Ursa 3, his realm awaits.
Yep.
And that stanza is the one that I think once you figure out and get boots on the ground, he's like, okay, you've done the work. You've started figuring me out. Let me give you a little confirmation. That's how. So what both of you guys just said, I agree with. And I expect to find it in Montana this summer.
Yeah. I hope you do, man. I hope you do.
We'll have you on as soon as you find it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I want to be anonymous or not. The crazy birds are out there. I just
how can we be anonymous, Kpro? We do a show every week. You're just gonna lie to people and go, yeah, it's great. Who found it?
Let's
keep looking for it.
Right now, I have a 15-year-old truck, so I just brought a brand new truck. It's the greatest thing. I feel like a better person in this truck, and we named it Darth Vader. And then Mike, really, when we moved houses, we don't have a spa, bought a spa, so we put both of those up, and people are like, so we knew there would be signs once you found the treasure. I'm like, no, we can keep quiet, Mike. Well, if you just didn't blabbermouth.
I already told my work, I go, if I find it, you'll just never hear from me again. I'm just not back. So that's one clue. And then there's the Bitcoin wallet. That's up to 10 grand.
Is it up to 10 grand? Wow,
cool. If this hunt goes for years and years, how high that Bitcoin wallet will go.
Here's something that we won't say for our show. We'll say for your show. There's a way when you click on the Bitcoin wallet, you can see the wallet that it came from and what the value is. Do you know what the value of Justin's Bitcoin wallet is? $54 million.
I mean, if you got in early, you could get hundreds of Bitcoin for nothing back then. And
so when people are going, oh, he's worth a couple million, his Bitcoin wallet alone is worth 54 million. And look at that vault that has those big boxes of gold in it. Those are worth $1.5 million each.
He got in early, that's for sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yes, 485 Bitcoins.
485. Holy
yeah.
cow. Yeah, 100
So-
grand. It went back up to 100 grand.
Yeah.
All right, here's a question from the chat. Jason Lindy said, Jason Indy, sorry, what is your bride?
I don't really have one
Ask you
yet.
what your bride is.
I think she might be asking you two. She probably hears
Oh,
us
that's
in Discord
right.
all the time. Maybe.
I sit in Discord with her. She's trying to trick me. You won't get it out of me.
Oh.
I'll tell you once I have the treasure chasing
I think she
me.
knows what the bride is.
She was one in our wedding party. She's a good friend. So
I don't know. Personally, I don't have
No,
one yet. Other than Kpro, I guess.
I think there's she's gonna love this. I think there's a mythology connection and a stars connection. That's as far as I'll go, but I do not believe that Ursa East and his realm is exactly as straightforward as people think. Who is Ursa? Is that Ursa from mythology? Is it Zeus? What does that mean? I have a twist on mine that I think fits really well, but I won't know until I go out there and don't find it and then accuse Justin of never putting it out there.
I listened to your guys' live stream, or you just kind of had like a group meeting on Zoom, I think is what it was. And you had a whole bunch of different people in there, and people were throwing all kinds of different ideas and things like that. And yeah, that was really interesting to watch that. I enjoyed that one, and kind of, it's nice to have that community, like you guys were talking about, to kind of come together, bounce some ideas off, and start going down different ways and go, oh, I didn't even think about that. I'll start to explore down this path now.
Yeah, you hear ideas that never occurred to you, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's something there. Right. Yeah, we need to do more of those, actually.
Well, and they've kind of turned into the chat sessions, but those have become more, I think, socializing and some ideas thrown out. But Mike used to do Zooms for all the smaller hunts, and I think we need to go back to that, because that's the one you're talking about, where we're in here to give ideas, to share, and to bounce ideas. And the Zoom lasted, I think the one you're talking about is the past and future for Jon Collins-Black. It was great because there were ideas that went too far. It was funny because what Ken was talking about of going too far down the rabbit hole, I think Joe started sharing some of his, and he went so far down. I was good though, about halfway, stuff I'd never considered. But then he went so much further, my brain exploded. But it was great to have that discussion going. So Mike's been talking about doing one of those. He used to do one of those every week for like 5 years. So now we just
all their treasure hunts. They're still going on. People still haven't solved them, so they're out there.
So I think first stanza for me is directional. It gives you a direction. Second stanza is actually traveling. You're traveling actually further. So first stanza gives you a direction to head. Second stanza takes you on a trek. Third stanza takes you on a trek. I think that you're going to find your checkpoint at the foot of 3 at 20 degree. Turn around, and then you're facing the location you're going to, which is this double arc place. And kind of the whole stanza there kind of describes that the place you're going for. It kind of all ties in together. I think that wait for you to cast your pole is not a fishing pole. I think it's a trekking pole. I think it's a trek.
Gotcha.
You know, it was funny last night in the speakeasy in the voice channel. That was the only thing we could agree on, is none of us thought it was an actual fishing pole, but there's 1,000 ideas of what it is. No one could agree. Some said telephone pole, some said all these different poles, but the only thing we agreed on together was it's not a fishing pole, which I love.
So the last stanza, what do you guys think of this? The last stanza, I don't think leads you to the pinpoint location. I think it's going to lead you to the general location, and you're going to recognize what you're looking for.
The container, like
the container. You're going to be in a general area. You're going to look around. You're going to see this container. I don't think it's a pinpoint location. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he wouldn't answer if it's buried, or he really wouldn't answer. He did say it would get you to it, and you recognize it if you get there. So I said, well, then that means it's not buried if we're going to recognize it. But you know what I mean? You'd have to give us an exact location to dig if it's buried. Right. So I think it might mean it's not buried. That once we see it, we know what it is.
But then how could it be in plain sight, right? If it's in a traveled area or any other place where public might go to. Yeah.
Right.
Here we go. We're going down the rabbit hole.
Good question.
Yeah. Shoot.
I like trekking pole. That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see. If I find it, I won't say anything either. Just
anonymous.
There'll be signs.
But Justin did say he will reveal the solution, right?
Yes, the full solution and the Netflix hints, which is what we all want.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He learned a lot. I think he improved upon the Thrill of the Chase.
This is off topic, but if Ken does find it, I know he's going to buy a Manicore metal detector.
No, they don't know what that is.
I know. I had to throw that in there.
So Tony and I both have different model metal detectors, 2 different brands. And they're like currently the 2 top brands out there, 2 top type of metal detectors. And so we give each other the business all the time of that. Mine better than yours, his better than mine. You know what I mean? We go to the nth degree on it. So
who has the most finds with their metal detector?
I don't know, man.
Keep track or no?
Well, if you ask him, I know what he'll say. I always have one more than he does. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I have a gold coin with mine, so.
Oh, nice.
So do I.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yours is bigger. Yours is bigger.
No,
it's funny.
You got yours with the T2, didn't you?
La 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 la.
Uh-oh. I have it's as bad as Michigan and Ohio, I think.
It is. Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Absolutely.
Well, it's funny because I got some time with my daughter because I got to take her up to Montana a couple weeks ago. And I just threw out, like, she's like, what would you buy if you won the $1 million treasure? And I don't even remember what I said. And I told her we would do a treasure hunt. We'd do a bigger one. I said, what would you buy? And she said, I would buy my brother, Kpro, and her boyfriend, dirt bikes. And I said, okay. She said, the best dirt bikes. I said, how much are those? She's like, $30,000 each. I said, okay, so that's 60. What would you do with the 940,000? And she's like, man, this is a lot more than I can even imagine. And it's so funny. That was her biggest thing. I know she get to you first. You know, she would give you something, but that's the biggest she was. And I'm like, no, this is a whole different level, baby. That's why this is so exciting. And I think that's when it hit her she's 18. She knows what $1 million is. But when she was dreaming about what to buy, it was, I'll spend $60,000. It's like, okay, add a 0. I mean, it is bigger than you can imagine until you really start thinking about it. She's like, okay, and then I would buy him 20 acres to put a dirt bike track on. I'm like, there you go. Now we're talking.
Absolutely.
Good time.
We can move off. We'll get back to Justin Posey in the Discord server. You guys can find over at Cowlazars and what do you guys call it? You're calling it the Grand Adventure. Discord server. There you go.
Cowlazars Grand Adventure on Discord. If you don't have the link, which is in the description, but you can just search on Discord, Cowlazars Grand Adventure. It'll come right up.
Yep. And if you happen to be listening, because we post our audio version of this tomorrow, which is the bigger bang for a buck on us. We have many more listeners on our audio podcast that's been on for 8 years. And then we do sort of on these live streams. We switched over to this because our audio only podcast quit doing the live element. We could no longer do the comment section. So we came over here and started doing video. But we post the audio tomorrow on that you can find anywhere you find podcasts. You can find Relics Radio. But we'll put all the links over there down below for you guys to find everything we're talking about tonight. The Facebook page, Cowlazar Kpro's Grand Adventure on Facebook, Cowlazars on YouTube channel. Tell us about Uncharted Collectibles.
So Uncharted Collectibles, we have a partner of ours, Greg, and well, I guess the genesis of it would be way back for the Thrill of the Chase. I had the idea of a searcher coin, and I reached out to Forrest Fenn and said, I was in the military, and we used to have a coin for whatever unit you were in, etc. It's like a brotherhood, and I reached out to him because him being a pilot, he knows about that. And I said, us treasure hunters, we're a brotherhood too. We all have a common goal. So how about a Forrest Fenn searcher coin? And he allowed me to do it, made 1,000 of them, sold out. People still have them to this day. And then fast forward, our friend of ours, Greg, it was like, you know what? I bet you I could get the rights to The Secret. Byron Price's The Secret, a treasure hunt from the early 80s, 12 casks. 3 of them have been found, but 9 are still out there. And he's like, let me talk to the guy who owns the rights, and I bet you we could work out a deal. And he did. He's a lawyer. He worked out the deal. So Uncharted Collectibles is the beginning of limited edition collectibles for treasure hunting. So Forrest Fenn Searcher coin, the couple that we have left are on the website. And we chose to go with New York, which is one of the 9 cities, the secret that haven't been found. And that treasure hunting coin is out there as well. And we have some ideas to do a future coin, me and Kpro and Greg. So stay tuned.
You're wearing the one. So another treasure hunter that holds a pretty exclusive treasure hunt, he said, put a set of them out there, and they sold out within a day, and you have a waiting list.
There's only 50 of these, but he did something unique. He put a cipher or a puzzle on the coins, or you have to put all the coins together to decipher it.
Oh, that's cool.
Put a different word.
So
on
people
the
have to share. Shenanigan people.
Was that
it's
Randy?
like a social experiment.
Was that Randy?
No. This one is Bart K with treasure. The Treasures of No Name. So TTOKA.org.
Okay.
Randy Fishel should do it for the Beacon Star, but no, this was Bart K.
Like another brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the coin's a good idea because, metal detecting, what are you looking for? Coins. It's just my original idea for the Thrill of the Chase was to leave your coin in your area. And when the next worst person comes along, they realize you've been there searching it, that type thing. A way to connect people. Yeah. Way to connect people.
Tony and I go metal detecting over in England sometimes, and sometimes people do that. They'll go detecting in England and they'll make these little coins.
Yeah.
They'll bury them after they retrieve a Roman coin or something. They'll replace it with one of their coins. So the next person that digs it up, it says, "Hey, Ken was here from Adventures in Dirt.
Same idea.
Got here before you did. Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Right. It's a great idea.
So Mike had mentioned the secret. So for those of you that live in the following states, or the following cities, I should say: San Francisco, Charleston, Roanoke, St. Augustine, New Orleans, Houston, Montreal, Milwaukee, and New York, you are still eligible to find these casks from the secret. Head on over to 12treasures.com and you can get started on that quest. There are all kinds of other armchair treasure hunts out there. There's about 20 others listed over on Cowlazars Discord server. So if you want to head on over there, just scroll to the bottom on the left and you'll see all kinds of different treasure hunts going on around the country. So the Beacon Star is close to my heart because I am in Colorado. Do you think anybody will ever find that? I know. I think I searched for you one time, Mike. I think I went and looked something up for you, but
yeah, for sure. I really like the Beacon Star. I like it because the story is good. If you're into Harry Potter, Dungeons and Dragons type stuff, the story is really well written, I think. And the puzzles are fun. They are cipher based, but we have solved, I'd say maybe half the puzzles in the book. We've actually given the solutions on our YouTube channel over the years. And people have had a lot of fun with it. And Randy checks on it every year. And he's like, it's right there. He goes, the book will lead you right there. It's within a finger's length. It's got to be inside a brick wall somehow. It's got to be inside people's house. But that is in Denver, Colorado. And that treasure is, it's probably about $6,500 plus a 1 ounce gold coin is the treasure. Been out for
It's hard. It's hard. It is a cipher driven. It is hard. And when Mike was like, yeah, there's like 22 puzzles. We're so excited. We have about all of them solved. Randy did put out a hint to everyone. He's like, you're not even halfway there. And I believe it's related to sundials. You have to do it on only certain times a year. It will be there 100 years from now. Randy will need to tell a person that tells his kids, that tells his kids, that tells his kids. That one's never getting solved. But one night, it was like midnight. Mike was not in bed. I'm like, what is he doing? I go down and there he is with the Beacon Star and a flashlight. He just couldn't get it out of his head that night. And he comes back to it. And that's one that you go back to and have fun, and everybody's sharing at this point because everybody knows it's so impossible. So that one's a rough one.
Randy gives hints, and Randy always said a good treasure hunt should last 30 years. So he made it difficult intentionally, and he's content to let it sit and let somebody figure it out. We're all kind of at a certain point where we can't figure this one thing out. And he said in the video, he's like, eventually somebody will have the right idea and they'll share it and everybody will have it. So there is no ebook, Chad. There was, but there were some issues, so he took it down. So it's just a printed book on Amazon.
Yeah. I bought a copy for me and a copy for one of my stepsons because he's just that one kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anybody's going to find it, he's find it. You know what I mean? Like, we did an escape room one time and you had to fill out all the stuff for the escape room stuff. And there's this last combo to get you out of the room. And he just went over there and he cracked it. like, one of those kind of kids, And so I gave him a copy of the book. I'm like, okay, figure this out for me. Go get it.
Well, make sure to watch. Mike did a show maybe a year or two ago. So when people do come in, there's like 20 puzzles already solved. So he put it all together in one video. So when someone comes in, rather than reinventing, they can use their new juices and solve something new. So make sure to show them that.
And then there's Xavier Marks. Are you familiar with that one? Have you heard of it?
No, I hadn't.
So Xavier Marks is in New York. It's a treasure in New York, a proxy. It's $10,000 for whoever finds it. And it's a kid's book. It looks like a simple kid's book, but of course it's not so simple once you start figuring out the clues. But Xavier Marks and the Missing Masterpieces, our friends Hillary and Sean created that book. And yeah, it's 10 grand. There's treasures out there. They're just waiting to be found. People just got to put these clues together and find them.
Yeah, and there's some new ones that are coming out. Who just announced at the con, they gave a free one away. The bookshop ladies.
Yeah, the bookshop. The next one's coming out soon. Yeah. Amnesia, I think it's called. Don't hold me to that, though.
Amnesia. Yeah, I think that's it. So there's new ones all the time.
Yeah, we got to mention Michael O'Connell, a friend of ours, Michael O'Connell, longtime Forrest Fenn searcher. If you're in the northeastern part of the U.S., he hid 9 treasures in 9 states, and like 4 of them have been found. But I mean, substantial treasures, and he's got 2 books out. Lady Liberty, treasurehunt.com, and then Riley's Treasure Hunt. Yeah, he's put a lot of time and effort into those. And I wish I lived in that part of the country because I'd be all over him if I was up there.
That's really cool. I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, there's a lot. They're out there.
There's a lot. And there's also, I mean, it'll probably never be found. I know he said that stuff, but Forrest bells, right? His bell jars. Those are just going to be discovered at some point, right? Somebody's going to do some excavation. Those are going to pop up.
Yeah, an accident. He said he wouldn't even be able to go back and get them. It's not like he left directions, but he did say, sometime, maybe 1,000 years from now, somebody will dig it up. That'll be pretty awesome if one is found in our lifetime. Yeah,
sure, that'd be cool. Yeah, it'd definitely make the news for sure. So you guys are really involved also in the community so much. Like there's Treasure Con, there's the World Series of Fenn. Do you guys still do the World Series of Fenn poker tournament and all that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Every year. The World Series of Fenn is a poker tournament that we do here in Vegas for all the treasure hunters. And now last year we did the very first treasure hunter conference here in Las Vegas, Seeking Treasure Con, seekingtreasurecon.com. And we are planning for next year's, and we're hoping to get a keynote speaker from one of these big treasure hunt creators, possibly. But it's just a way for everybody that talks on Discord and the groups to actually meet face to face and, have a good time here in Vegas, share ideas. We had the winners come up from treasure games. I mean, there's people that are finding some things and winning some money out there. So we just wanted to show them to everybody, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, but up until last year, it was really just a social. We had the poker game, but we went to Fremont Street and we had all this fun. But a lot of new people are in and they want to learn. So we actually made it more of a formal. We did do an open bar and open food, which was a bad idea. We're going to bring it up next time. But we actually asked panels of people to come on. So there was a panel of people that have won, like Roy Coy won the breakfast tea and bourbon for what,
150 grand, 50
grand. And so there was all these winners and they talked about their strategies to win. One of the hardest things is how do you market a hunt if you don't have a Netflix behind you or, a $1 million PR team. And so some of the smaller hunts talked about how they did it and they do it very differently. So we have all these topics. So it was a little more formal where it was really information and knowledge sharing. And that's actually the number one request of, can we make it so big that we can break out into groups and kind of have break off sessions? So we're just getting ready to start organizing. We'll have the keynote, but then we're going to break off into individual like concurrent sessions. I think we have enough because I think we'll hit a couple hundred this year coming, which is amazing because from where it started, there were 16 of us playing poker after a fundraiser in Santa Fe with Forrest, and I got Forrest to sign $100 bill, and that was the winning that went to the winner. And now we have a couple hundred that all come to Vegas and we've turned into a conference. So it is amazing how things have evolved over the 10 years or so.
So I do have a list. I just put my email in the chat. It's cowlazars@gmail.com. But I have a list, and you'll get all the info on the conference for next year if anybody wants to email me to get on the list. And, of course, it's in the Discord and all our social medias as well.
Yeah. We had a question come in, didn't we, Tony?
Yeah. Question was from JCB Hunters. Is there a list of all the current ongoing treasure hunts? Is that something you guys have compiled and have somewhere?
On the Discord list, the majority of them. I would say maybe not every single one.
Sure.
I mean, I know there's a lot going on in the UK. We really don't list those just because it's all the way over in the UK. But yeah, Discord is a good place to find them.
And usually every couple of months, and I haven't done it for a couple of months, I have a PowerPoint because that's what I'm kind of known for. And it has like Beacon Star and it's in Denver and you need to, here's the prize amount. And then kind of the good and the bad, like Cipher Heavy, but it's only a $7 book and it's been going on for years. I kind of give you the synopsis. Maybe I'll update that one because it is funny how quickly they pop up, change, get solved, etc. But I think I called it the Dirty Dozen. So I knew there was 12 going on just in our area of the US. So I'll update that and maybe do that on an upcoming show. But yeah, the left side of our Discord, you can see the hunts that are going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hey guys, look, we're at the end of an hour and a half. Doesn't it fly by?
It does when you're talking treasure hunts. It sure does.
Yeah.
We could talk for more hours. I'm telling you. Might have to have you back a few more times, but a lot more to talk
when
about.
I find the treasure.
There you go, Kristy. Perfect. But hey, thank you guys. You've been great guests. I knew you would be, and I really appreciate you guys making time to come on and talk to Tony and I and our audience. And I'll tell you what, we'll give you last talk, last message. We'll put you in a green room, and if you're okay with it, we'll say our goodbyes off the air. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you for having us on. It's a lot of fun. We are trying to hit 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, Cowlazars, of course. So if everybody could go subscribe, give it a like, we would appreciate it.
There you go. And Tony's putting that in the chat, and it's also down below in the description.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. I had fun. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys in just a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. Big show. That was fun, man.
It's great. I mean, we talk about these treasure hunts, between the two of us as well. But the community, again, getting people that live and breathe it, way more than we do. But gosh, the passion. It's great just to find people that have passions in life. We love to find treasures. We love history. We love searching for it, all that kind of stuff. And just, we're all the same people. This is just great guests.
Yeah.
Overall.
I know that every time I put out a Forrest Fenn video on my channel, it was, I get all this feedback from all these searchers and everyone having this different ideas and a lot of conspiracy theories. And it's like, man, it really opened me up to a larger community that I was like, wow, I touched a nerve here that, I didn't know really was there. And I mean, I knew it was there from watching Cowlazars, YouTube channel and stuff. And even watching back when we used to do the coffee things and, it just was amazing to me how far that stretched, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't do them a lot, but every now and then I'd do a Forrest Fenn video and it would just be like, they would just come out of the woodwork, and I'd be like, cool. So when I finally saw Cowlazars kind of growing and becoming sort of the source, I thought it was perfect. I thought there's no one better. So everyone go over and make sure you check out his YouTube channel, check out the Discord server, and even take a look at the Grand Adventures on Facebook. And go give them a look and hit that, if you like what they're doing, hit the subscribe button, tell them you saw them right here on Relics Radio. That'd be great. I'm sure they'd love to know how you found them. So go ahead and do that. They would appreciate that, I'm sure.
Love it.
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate that. So good luck on our hunt. Appreciate it. Yeah. What do you got going on?
Not much. If you guys want to find me, I'm over on 5280 Adventures over on YouTube. I'm on Rumble, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Just put in 5280 Adventures. Come check me out. I like to have a good time. Make some comments. I love to chat with you guys. I know I've got some messages this week from Bill in the chat there. Talk to Relic Jedi who joins us. So have conversations with me. Connect. Send me your finds. I love seeing those and chatting with everybody. So. And I appreciate all of the new people that joined us this week here on Relics Radio. Stick around. We've got lots of great guests from metal detecting, treasure hunters, bottle diggers, just on and on and on. We're all the same kind of people, same kind of interests. And maybe you find something that interests you. I'd love to have you hang out with us in the chat or follow us on the replays.
Cool. Are we going to dig anytime soon?
I'd love to go digging.
Yeah.
We're going to be digging in 2 weeks for sure.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know if we're going to try and get out. You got that week off. I bet we can find something to do that week.
Yeah, sounds
We'll
good.
get on it. And then after Rush to the Rockies, we'll go ahead when we come on the next Relics Radio, we'll introduce ourselves as the Masters of Metal Champions.
There you go.
That's coming up. So stay tuned for that.
All right, bud.
All right, man.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Relics Radio. Had a fun night. Knew I would with Mike and Kristy for sure. Make sure you go over there and support them like you guys support us. And if you're listening on the audio replay, like I said, the description will have all the links and what we talked about. If you listen to that, and maybe you're not into treasure hunting, but you have any questions, drop me a line. My email is dk@adventuresindirt.com. And you can find me at Adventures in Dirt anywhere in social media. I mean, who would have thought I'd be at my age and have all this social media going on? But yeah, Adventures in Dirt, you can find me anywhere on the on social media anywhere. But go out this weekend, use your metal detector, find some amazing things, and make sure you tell me about it. I always like hearing about the stuff you guys are finding out there. And if you do go out, be safe, have fun, and we'll catch you next Wednesday here on Relics Radio. Have a good night.
Thank you so much for listening to Relics Radio. We will see you back here next week for another exciting guest. Until then, get out and dig it all.